Good morning and welcome back to Apple Tree Allotment. Down here on a Saturday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Nice crisp morning again. It's a bit warmer than it was last week. There's less frost and ice about. A little bit on some of these beds, but yeah, a little bit warmer this week. So got a few more jobs on the list today. Starting to get through some of these building jobs. I've been busy this week preparing for the weekend jobs, getting everything I need. So I've been to the recycling place and got more soil improver. So I've gone and got my 5 boxes of soil improver again. I've got the wood ready to make a new bed at the front here. So I made this one last week, was it, or 2 weeks ago. I've got the wood to make another one at the front here. It's going to be one plank high. So I've got the wood cut up ready for that. It's in the shed so it doesn't get too icy and cold. I've got the soil improver compost to go in, and I've also got from last week, I've got the wood chips in the wheelbarrow over here. It's old broken wheelbarrow. It does have one handle. It just looks funny. It's at some point I'm going to chuck the wheelbarrow, but it was a good place to put those when I used the boxes for something else. So yeah, so I've got those to put a path in between the 2 beds down the middle, and I've got some plastic there. It's very hard to see. I've got a little bit of plastic there that can go down the middle. Just means I can lean over and sow and harvest easier rather than these really big beds. They're already, I think the bed I made before was just over 2 meters long and 1.14 meter, I think it was, wide. So the other one will be the same dimensions, and then there'll be I think it was about a 14-inch gap or something, 12-inch gap, just enough to sort of walk down just to harvest and sow and things. Yeah, so that's my first task today. I've got to go and get all the compost out of the van. Brought the camper down with the boxes in. So I'll go and get a wheelbarrow and bring that all down and get the wood out the shed. Put all this plastic back and start clearing that. So that's my first and main sort of job today, is building that bed, getting the compost in it, getting the path sorted, and then this front area will look much nicer and be ready. And what I've started at home drawing out are plans for the 2 plots this year. I sort of drew out all the beds, trying to work out what we've got room for, what we're going to plant, and what I'm thinking is I'm going to bring the strawberries. So at the back up here, in this bed up here, there's absolutely loads of strawberry plants. Quite hard to see at the moment because they're all brown. There's a few little bits of green leaves. Yeah, there's tons in there. So I'm going to thin out the best ones there's quite a lot of weeds and grass in there as well. So I'm going to take the best ones out of there, and later on I'm going to rebuild this bed into 2 beds that's more usable. It's all sort of falling apart and some bits are rotten, some look okay, so I might be able to reuse the posts and things. But yeah, so I'm going to get the strawberries out of there, and they're going to go in the front over here, in the lower bed. So I'll put them in there. The raspberries that I cut back last week are next to them here, so we've got the fruit at the front here. Not sure about that bed, the back bed yet. Yeah, we'll see about that. Maybe courgettes. But yeah, we'll see when I've got further down my plan. And then other things for today, I'm going to start stripping the base off this tree. I need to move this tree into the orchard bit. So at some point when it's a little bit warmer, I need to do that. So I imagine that's going to take me a good couple of hours to get that dug out and replanted. And ideally when it's a bit warmer, I'll probably need to come down in the afternoon or something when the ground's a bit warmer. But yeah, it's a good tree, so I didn't want to get that moved. It'll still be our tree, so we'll still be able to pick the fruit and look after it. But that will give me a space for 2 new beds here. At the moment, it's got some like lino on the top. The people before had put play sand down. You try and sort of used it as a sandpit. It wasn't particularly great. So yeah, I'm going to take that off the top. We'll get rid of that. I'll chuck that away. But it also looks like it's got weed fabric underneath, so I will reuse that to probably kill off the once I've got the strawberries out, kill off that bit while I'm waiting to build that up. Yeah, so I might start sorting that out. And also I had a look, there's a big wood pile on this allotment plot that various people have left over the years from various projects, and I talked to one of the committee members last week, and he showed me a few bits that were pretty good that I could use for some beds. So I'm gonna have a little go through that pile and see if I can pull out a few bits, and we can measure it up and start planning for the next project. I'm not sure whether that'll be one of this back bed or this. Depends if I can get this tree moved soon. So you need to do it before it starts to bud up again, starts to form leaves again. At the moment it's totally dormant at the moment. But yeah, I need to do that in the next few weeks, next couple of weeks. Yeah, so that's the jobs for today. I'm gonna go and get the compost out. Got all my prep work done now, so I've got the wood out of the shed, ready to go. I've got the hammer, good old trusty hammer, and nails. I got my dad to go through his pile of many old boxes and tins of nails and screws rather than buying a load. I got through his boxes and found some good nails left over from various projects. Got my compost. Boxes have seen better days now, so I'm gonna have to replace some of them or find something else to start transporting in, but they'll do for today. Got my plastic, got my bark chips, and I've took the weed fabric off here, so yeah, it's totally weed free. So that's a good start, good base. So absolutely nothing growing there at all. It's been under that plastic for quite a long time, and for now I've just moved the weed fabric that was down there just under the tree, under our crabapple tree. This gets quite high with nettles on grass in the summer, so my plan is to cover this up with weed fabric and put more bark chips down when I can get some. Yeah, I'll just cover it up for now, just to stop any growth starting, and I need to find a bit for the other side. I didn't quite realise it was that big a bit of ground. It's quite deceiving how big it is under there. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I've got some bricks to move when I do it. Before I do it, there's a load of bricks I sort of made a bit of a pavement out of at the back there, so I'll need to dig them all out before I put the bark chips down. But that's another day's project. I just thought I'd get this, as I got this weed fabric spare, I thought I'd put that down and at least keep it tidy for now until I've got time to deal with it. So I'm just going to lay out my wood, put that box together. Hopefully that shouldn't take too long, and then I can start filling it and get that path in place. I've got the bed built, so I've got the 4 sides in. I haven't put supports in the middle of this one just because there's only one plank at the moment, but I have left them a little bit higher, the same height as the 2 planks, and if I can find more decking that fits, I will add another layer. I do like them the double height, so you can really fill them up and get some decent roots. Our soil is so heavy clay that it's really hard to dig or harvest stuff out of. So yeah, I do like quite deep beds, and also it's easier to lean over and do your work. So that's the bed put together. It's got a little gap down the middle. It wasn't quite as wide as I was thinking it was going to be. I must have slightly mismeasured, but it's enough to wander down and lean over when you need to. So that's fine. Gives me some good growing space. So I'm going to get some cardboard out the shed and just lay it down on this earth. I don't think there's hardly any weeds or anything in there, but that will come up. But I'll do it anyway, just to be sure while I'm doing it. And then I'll get the compost in. Yeah, it's looking good. That's all the 5 containers of compost in. So I'm just going to give it a rake out, flatten it out, and then I can move on to the path. The sun's starting to come out a bit now, so it's warming up. We're not so much in the shadows. Yes. I've raked out all that compost. That's looking good. It's pretty much to the top of the planks, so that's nice. Do well with the strawberries. I've also laid out this plastic liner just to stop any weeds coming up through the bark chips. It's about an inch or 2 inch short at each end, but that'll do a good job, I think. That'll just keep the maintenance down. This bed's, looking at it at this time of the morning, it's quite useful because it's one of the first beds to get the sunlight on both of our plots, I think, pretty much. So it's probably a good place for the strawberries. They'll enjoy a bit of sun. Yeah, so last step, get that bark chip on now. So there's the finished bed. Nice bark path between, keeps it nice and tidy and stops any mud getting everywhere. So it's nice. So those 2 beds are all done now. Just got to get some plant something in it. So I'm going to try another week. I'll start moving the strawberries across and get them in this first bed. Fill that up. Rest of the plot, if I get time today, the weather's okay, I might go and try and get some more bark chips and put on the raspberry bed, just to stop weeds sort of coming up around the raspberries. Yeah, we'll see if they've got any today. I'll pop them down. And the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all these rocks off this around this tree and take this lino off. At least start prepping for moving that. See what's under there. I've never moved it, so I'm not sure what's completely under there. Yeah, so I'm going to do that, a little bit of tidying, and then I'll have a quick look round. I had a little bit of a tidy up. I pulled all that flooring off around the tree and all those rocks. Weirdly found a hand fork and a pair of scissors under the lino. No idea what people are thinking putting those down under things. Glad I found those before the kids ran on it or anything. Yeah, so I've got that out of the way. I'm going to throw that away. I had a little look at the soil underneath this weed fabric. I mean, as it's supposed to, it's a really good soil under there, so that's good news for more beds. On the soil, I just had a little poke around in the soil, and that's actually really, really good soil. I'm assuming before they put this tree in, it was a nice bed. So yeah, hopefully that won't be too bad to dig out. The root ball is actually it's not particularly massive. There is some fairly big roots there, but yeah, it doesn't seem to spread out too far, so that's good. The committee was saying it's been here about 3 or 4 years, and it was probably quite a big tree when it was put in. So yeah, hopefully it hasn't, although it's healthy, hopefully it hasn't got too big a root ball, and I can just get a fork in there and lift it out. And we can straighten it up. Yeah, so that's good news. Pleased to see that. Just trying to have a bit of a tidy up of this plot because it's sort of left in a bit of a mess. So I'm slowly working away at getting rid of the weird bits of vinyl and stuff. Yeah, so that's good. So I don't know if I'll do that next week or the week after. We'll see what the weather's like. Whether I might move the strawberries across. Yeah, so that's today's job's done really. Starting to look a bit more like a plot, bit tidier. Really pleased I've got those beds in. It's a really good growing space there. Onions and garlic. So the garlic this side is doing well. A few more holes have appeared from rabbits, although most of them seem to be surviving. Onions seem similar to last week, so surviving. Our broad beans have really not. I planted them in. I do them in like October or something. I can still see little shoots, but there's not much there at all. So an old guy on one of our old allotment plots once told me to plant spring broad beans in on Valentine's Day. So I've got a few more beans at home. I might bring down and plant them around then. See if they come up better. Chard seems to be recovering very slowly. We're still picking at home. The ones at home are amazing, so they look like they're still growing actually at home pretty well. So yeah, we're harvesting those slowly. The peas under the little mesh are doing well. There's quite a few coming up in there. But the bed without any cover has got far less in, so there's definitely some rabbits grazing on those. So I'll have to find another cover for that, I think. And then over here, the daffodils are coming up nicely. And whatever these are, I think these are too late for crocuses now, aren't they? I think, although they're definitely smaller than daffodils. So yeah, yet to see what they are. It is quite a sheltered spot at the back here, so they could just be late, I guess. The daffodils are slowly coming up. Again, these are a lot smaller than the ones we've got at home, so maybe they'll just be later back here. Yeah, the rest of the plot is looking good. Getting ready to plant up. I'm starting to think about getting my tomato seeds started at home, and we'll grow those at home in the beds at home. That's sort of my job for February. Maybe some brassicas, not sure. Maybe some. I'm not sure if Brussels might be a bit early for Brussels. But yeah, starting to look at that sort of thing. Got some cress going the other day on the windowsill just to keep the sowing bug going. But yeah, looking forward to starting to get stuff in pots, get seeds, get the seed packets out. Yeah, so that's it for today. I'm just going to have a wander, go and put everything back in the van, and then see if I can find any more wood to put on the pile for another day, for when I've got that tree out the way. I can build 2 more beds there. Yeah, hope you enjoyed seeing a bit more progress on the plot today. Feels like a big win getting more beds in. I can see it's starting to look more like a decent plot now. See what it's going to look like a bit better. At some point it'd be nice to improve these, but I think that'll be next winter. These 4 beds here. Yeah, it's probably a project for another day, next year. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, and the sun's starting to come out now, so I'll get off home and look forward to talking to you next week.